Hello and a warm welcome to the Asian Tour podcast. We're at Delhi Golf Club, all set for the third Panasonic Open India. We'll look back at Scott Henn's thrilling win at the inaugural Chiang Mai Classic, and we'll look ahead to the first major of the year, the US Masters. Coming up, we talk to the defending champion Digvijay Singh on his victory here last year at the DGC.
Hi, I'm Digvijay Singh. I'll be defending the Panasonic Open here in India this week. Well, it's fantastic. This golf course has been really kind to me. I've had some good finishes here. Finished fourth in a European Tour event in 2008, and I won a domestic tour tournament in 2004, SRF India match play. And I can definitely say this golf course has given me the biggest check that I've made so far in professional golf. So I like this golf course.
More from Diggy as he reflects on his win here last year, and from India's long-time leading light, Jeev Milkha Singh, in the show. But first we're going to look back at last week's Chiang Mai Golf Classic. Hi, I'm Richard Kaufman alongside former Asian Tour player Dom Boulay. And Dom, Northern Thailand for the inaugural Chiang Mai Golf Classic. Wonderful course, a great town. It turned out to be a pretty perfect week all in all.
It was a wonderful event. Being the first time there, I didn't talk to a player or an official, anyone who didn't think it was a terrific week. Just not only the course, but the town. It was a beautiful little town. Lots of lovely little restaurants that we went to, reasonably priced. It was just a fun week, and can't wait to go back.
And it was an incredible final round. I don't think anyone really could have predicted what happened over the closing 18 holes. Everyone saw Pride Mark saying 5 shots ahead, but it was Scott Henn who was 6 back at the start of the day, shot that terrific final round of 64 and picked up the trophy afterwards. And then, of course, he got to speak to yourself, Dom.
To be honest with you, I didn't think I had a chance of winning. I played with Pride the first 2 rounds, and he was hitting the ball great, putting great. And then obviously yesterday he played great, so I thought he'd just continue the way he was playing, and I was just going out there trying to get a solid top 5 finish. And obviously it all fell together for me, and I played quite well, and unfortunately for the other guys, they didn't quite keep the pace going, which was good for me.
On 18, you hit 3-wood off the tee, and I thought you were going to lay up with your second, but then there was a big roar on 15. Pride made the birdie. Did that change your strategy on 18, or were you always planning on going for the green in 2?
No, yesterday I pushed my driver into the bunker, and lucky it was into the wind. Today, if I pushed anything right with my driver, it would have flown the bunker into the water. So my caddy, Tony, said, mate, just take the 3-wood, and I tried to hit driver, and he goes, mate, it's only 3-wood, and then from there I can get home. I know I can get home short of the bunker, so we just went 3-wood, try and make a birdie and get the job done, try and put it out of the reach of the guys behind. I didn't have a clue what was going on behind. All I did is I looked at the board when I was lining up my putt, and I thought, well, if I can get this up and down, there's a chance that I can lock him out.
Talking about Tony, I mean, he's an ex-Asian Tour player. He's now on your bag. Is this going to be a permanent thing?
Well, he'd probably say no. I'd like him to be on my bag all the time, but he's a great player himself. He's had some injury problems. I've managed to fish him out of Australia from playing in Australia to come out for 3 weeks, and he's just a great mate. It's just great to have him out there with me.
Yeah, great win, wasn't it, for Scott Henn? A remarkable day. Interesting to hear him talking there, Dom, about his relationship with Tony Karan, and it's great to have another professional golfer in your bag, but then again, you know you can't necessarily rely on him full time.
Well, not yet. I mean, Tony's still committed to playing, and like Scott says, he's a terrific player. So we'll see how that develops, but I think Tony Carolan is very good for Scott, because Scott can get down on himself quite quickly, and I think Tony's just there to provide moral support and to take his mind off what's happening on the golf course. And I was talking to Tony after the round. I said, well done, congratulations. And he said, yeah, he was really edgy out there, Scott. And I was thinking about everything but what was going on the golf course, talking about cricket, about tennis, about life back at home, and about the family. Just everything but what was happening on the golf course. He's trying to take his mind away, and it obviously worked.
And that's where he is now. He's back home in Florida. He's going to have a little bit of time off before heading off to the Ballantyne's Championship. We've seen this before, haven't we, from Scott Henn? Last year in Singapore, shot a closing round 64, was quite a bit behind going into the final round. I suppose he's that kind of player, really. He attacks, and when he's on his game, he seems unstoppable.
He's very explosive. Anyone who can hit the ball 340 yards at will is going to have a chance. Now, it just so happened that Pride Mark Sang had a 5-shot lead, and that's a big lead, and it's something you don't really want. I know it sounds like a contradiction. You'd want to have the biggest lead possible going to the last day. But when you have a 5-shot lead, the pressure is really on you. It's hard to get a good night's sleep because everyone expects you to win. And there's a little sense of embarrassment if you don't win. And it just so happened. And Pride's had a history in the past of losing some leads and making wrong decisions coming down the stretch. And with the history that Scott's had from coming from behind and his ability to shoot really low scores, it was just a perfect combination.
I suppose at one point there was one player, Bryce Easton, the young South African, just missed out on his Asian Tour card. Has won a couple of times already on the Sunshine Tour. He was the one that looked like was making the biggest move in that final round. Like Scott, he shot a final round 64. It was good enough to win him second place, get him into the field at Delhi Golf Club this week as well, albeit it took a very late flight for him to get here. But a massive week for him, and he showed what talent he's got.
And it locks up his card for 2014 because he's won enough money. I think he won just over $82,000, which should get him in the top 60 by the end of the year. He's not, because he's in that category missing the cut, not missing the cut at Q School, but finishing outside the top 40. I believe he's in category 17, so he won't get all the starts. He doesn't go in the re-rank, so the money he won last week doesn't count towards the re-rank. So he'll only have a limited number of starts, but he can now plan for 2014 because he's going to be able to play every tournament he wants. So it was a massive week for Bryce Easton.
And one of the other stories there last week, of course, was could Thongchai Jaidi win? Could that win then get him in the US Masters? For a while, it looked like it was a possibility, particularly at the halfway stage. He shot a very good bogey-free second round, but just didn't happen for him over the weekend, like it hasn't really happened for him over the last 3-4 weeks when his goal was top 50 and get into Augusta National.
I think looking at the world rankings after last week, he would have just made it. I believe he would have finished 50th. So, yeah, a win was huge for Thongchai, and I think it's played on his mind over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's hit the ball reasonably well, actually quite well, but he's been struggling with the putter. He went to the short putter in Chiang Mai. Previous weeks he was using the belly putter. It just doesn't seem to be gelling on the greens right now for Thongchai Jaidi.
So no place for Jaidi, and no place either for Marcel Siem, who did win the final event going into those rankings on the European Tour, the Trophy Assander, but he thought he might get to 50th, but 51st in the end for him.
It's a crying shame. I mean, I think he shouldn't reflect too much on it. He should just congratulate himself for winning a big European Tour event. Obviously, a big bonus is if he had made the Masters. He's still got a chance. He's flown over to San Antonio in Texas this week to play in that tournament. Mm-hmm. If he wins that, he gets in. Obviously, it's a big ask. But Marcel Siem, he is improving all the time, so he should look on the positives.
Yeah, one player that did make the move into the top 50, of course, was Henrik Stenson. Finished second in the PGA Tour event, and you wouldn't rule him out from actually competing at the Masters itself.
No, he's had a few good weeks, and obviously he's won the Players' Championship. He's won a World Golf Championship before, Henrik Stenson. He belongs in the top 10, 15 in the world, and he's got the game for Augusta because he bombs it, and when he's on with his putter, he holds a lot of putts. Exactly the perfect combination for the Masters.
The only representative from the Asian Tour at the US Masters will be Taiwan Wirichan. How do you feel he can do?
All depends on the weather, Richard. If it blows and it's cold, not much of a chance, I don't think, for Taiwan Wirichan. If the weather's nice, blue skies, sunny, warm temperatures, I think he can make the cut. I think he can maybe get into the top 20 and hopefully get an invite for the following year.
Yeah, it's a terrific story for Taiwan Wirichan himself. Of course, everyone looking forward to the US Masters getting underway on Thursday a week. There's obviously some big name players there, and one name sticks out like a sore thumb, I suppose, in terms of who's favourite to win.
Well, I think you're prompting me here, and it's not a hard one. Tiger Woods, what a remarkable career. This is his 4th swing. He's won 6 USGA titles with his swing as a junior. Mm-hmm. Then he changed it and won that great run with Butch Harmon, 2000, 2001.
4 majors in a row, yeah.
Then he changed it again with Hank Haney and went on a great run in 05, 06. And in the last 3 years, he's gone to Sean Foley. And they're not just minor changes. The look is completely different. And here he is, 77 PGA Tour titles. Just to compare, Fred Couples, who was the number 1 player in the world, was on TV all the time, seemed to be in contention all the time. He's won 62 more PGA Tour titles than Fred Couples.
And look at his winning percentage as well. I mean, it's remarkable.
Almost 30% in a sport where if you win 5% of your starts, 5 out of 100 events, you're considered a superstar. He's 3 out of 10. It's unbelievable.
But he's not guaranteed a major number 15, is it? It's 5 years since he won that last major, so the pressure, or the extra pressure, comes there. And of course, there's some star-studded players who also fancy their own chances.
And it's 8 years since he's won Augusta and 5 years since he's won a major. It's a fickle game, as we all know. You still have to make the putts. He can hit great putts all week long that just slip out. If they drop in, he's going to win. If they don't, someone else is going to win.
Of course, one of the men who won a major last year was Ernie Els, won at Royal Lytham and St Anne's. Didn't get to tee it up at Augusta National last year, but he will do for 2013, and he's really looking forward to it.
So I went there with Scotty. We went there, I think, 2 weeks ago now, and played up there. We had a beautiful day, and played with Adam, who's a good friend of mine, and I would love for him to see him win a major, especially after, the Open, but... yeah, we had a good day up there. We checked it out. I didn't play it last year, so I needed to go see it again just to refresh the memory. And saw just minor changes. Now on 14, the 14th green was changed a little bit, but it was nice to get out there to see the slope and the elevation changes and all of that. So it was beautiful.
It really is beautiful there. So, if not Tiger, Dom, neck on the block time. If not Tiger, who?
I'd love to say Rory, but I don't really see it right now. I think maybe Charles Schwartzel. He's playing great. He's played great the last 4 or 5 months. If he putts well, I think he'll be right there.
Okay, I think maybe time for an Englishman to bloom. Justin Rose. Justin Rose. What about the 14-year-old that's there, Guantian Lang? How do you think he'll fare? I mean, it's going to be a tough challenge for him.
I think he should just go in there and just soak up the atmosphere. He's 14 years old. No one's expecting him to do very well. He's not a very long hitter from what I've been told and what I saw at the Asian Amateur. He's going to struggle to reach some of those par 4s in 2. If he can just get close to making the cut, that would be a great achievement, but I don't see him actually making the cut. But just enjoy it. Stay in the crow's nest, go to Butler Cabin, just walk around the grounds. I think he can play in the par 3 event. There's going to be a lot of eyes in China watching him. I hope they don't expect him to go out there and contend, because he's not going to do that.
Incredible at the age of 14. Of course, he follows in the footsteps of Hideki Matsuyama, made the cut on both occasions as the Asian Amateur Champion at Augusta. We understand he's decided to turn pro at the Token Homati Cup, which is in Nagoya in Japan later on in April. How do you think he'll fare as a professional?
Well, he's already won the Dunlop Phoenix on the Japan Tour as an amateur, one of the biggest events there. He's played in the Masters twice. The first year he played, he finished tied 28th when he was an 18-year-old. I think he's going to fare quite well. I think he's going to do all right.
I think so too. So here we are at Delhi Golf Club. It's a wonderful place to be. Of course, it's a place you've been to many, many times as a professional golfer, and also as part of the commentary team on the Asian Tour. It's a familiar setting for the players in the field. Are there certain standout players for you that you feel that this is a course that's made for them?
Yeah, the straight hitter. I think a player like Sideka, a Mithun Pereira, and of course anyone who is from Delhi Golf Club, a Shiv Kapoor, Jyoti Randhawa, Monav Jaini, guys who are members here, have played here hundreds of times. You've got to look to them to contend.
First of all, the defending champion Digvijay Singh and Jeev Milkha Singh.
Bombing it 300 yards does not get you the trophy in this golf course. It does not. Hitting it 220 yards off the tee and down the middle of the fairway might get you the trophy. So stay out of the bushes, stay in the short grass, and you'll walk away with a very good finish through the week.
I'm playing at the Delhi Golf Club after 6 years, and last time I played, I remember I finished 4th here in the Indian Open. So I'm excited to be playing at the Delhi Golf Club. I've played here since I was 10 years old. I've played sub-junior tournaments and professional tournaments. I love this golf course. It's a demanding golf course. You need to hit the ball well. You need to manage yourself well. And you've got to be mentally strong to win. So I think it's a good test of golf this week, and I'm looking forward to it.
Fair to say a couple of bombers have won the last couple of weeks on the Asian Tour. Kiradek Aphibarnrat, Scott Hend. Just tell us what it's like plotting your way around this golf course, Dom, and what fears or what goes into your head?
Well, the one thing that strikes you right away is a quarter of the field here won't even have a driver in their bag. They'll leave it in the hotel room. So that tells you you don't need a driver. And you don't want to be tempted to hit the driver, because if you do, you can get yourself in so much trouble. I basically compare it to playing a golf course where there's OB tight on the left side of the fairway and the right side of the fairway. If you miss-hit a shot, hook it or push it, you're in the bush, and it's going to be a penalty shot.
Well, the champion from 2012 of the Panasonic Open was Diggy Singh. Terrific victory for him. His first, obviously, coming at the age of 40. He's looking forward, of course, to contending again this week.
I was not really in the picture. I was lying 3 or 4 shots back. And when I made the birdie on the 14th, and the birdie on the 16th actually got me thinking. That's when I thought, well, it looks like we have a chance here. Just play the next 2 holes percentage golf, middle of the green, and we should be good. We might be in the playoff. And it so happened that I walked off with the birdie on the 18th, which put the pressure on the group behind me. They had to, Gaganjeet had to eagle that to force a playoff. So I was lucky to hole one on the last hole.
Yeah, you're never comfortable here, are you, until the ball's gone in the hole at the 72nd hole, and it was a terrific win for Diggy Singh, and he was in good form last week, wasn't he, Dom? So he comes here full of confidence.
Yeah, the timing was perfect for Diggy Singh. I mean, he did play well last week, stumbled a little bit on day 4 on the Sunday at the very end, but I think he's going to have a little bit of confidence, and he's obviously very comfortable in these surroundings.
And by finishing in the top 3 here this week, you get a chance to play in Japan at the Asia Pacific Panasonic Open later in the year, which is a nice addition to the prizes on offer.
Believe you me, I've never had so many people walk with me in a tournament ever. I played with the Japanese sensation Ryo Ishikawa first 2 rounds, and I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you any lies when I say the gallery was 10 deep, and it was all the way from the tee box all the way till the green, and the first hole is like a 500-yard par 4. So I could not see the grass on either side except for people over people over people, masses and masses of people. And I can surely imagine now what a big star Ryo Ishikawa is in Japan. So I was a bit rattled in the beginning of the round, but then I settled in. I didn't play very well the first day, shot 4 over, then shot 2 under the second day. Wasn't good enough to be around for the weekend. I think the cut went at even par, so I missed it by 2. I don't know, even par or 1 under, missed it by a few. But great experience. What a beautiful golf course we played on, and the atmosphere, it's literally out of a picture book kind of the golf course, and the atmosphere created there by the Japanese Golf Tour organization and Panasonic is absolute pleasure to be there. I'm looking forward to going there again.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a ball. You played a fair few times in Japan yourself, haven't you, Dom?
Yeah, I have. It's a terrific tour. The courses are in great shape, bent grass. The greens are absolutely magnificent, and just like Diggy says, big crowds, especially if you're playing with Ishikawa. They're going to be massive crowds, and there's a great atmosphere about playing tournaments in Japan. The crowds are very polite, and they respect all the players, and they have their own way of cheering for the players, and it's very different, but it's very fun. Yeah,
nice add-on prize that for finishing top 3 this week. And speaking of top prizes, we have what is surely the biggest single hole-in-one prize on the Asian Tour on offer this week. It's been rechristened a home-in-one prize from sponsor Homestead, who build luxury homes in India with a bit of a sporting twist. They already have a Michael Schumacher Tower under development and a Maria Sharapova Tower as well. It's being planned, and they're even having plans to have a high-profile golfer named behind a tower too. Now, this week's prize, a hole-in-one at 17 on Sunday, wins you an apartment, which is going to be worth a lot of money. It's a great incentive, first of all, to make the cut, and second of all, once you get there on Sunday, to try and bag what is not an easy hole to get an ace on.
Well, it's not, depending on where they put the pin. But if they put the pin in, let's say, the front left portion of the green, or even the middle left portion of the green, where a lot of the hole, the slopes feed in that way, then it's a chance. Now, if they put it back right, which is the traditional Sunday pin when you play Delhi Golf Club on a Sunday, then it's going to be tough. But it could change someone's life.
Yeah, what an incentive. What a fantastic prize. A home-in-one then for an ace at 17 on the final round of this Panasonic Open India. And so much more to look forward to in the coming weeks on the Asian Tour. Next week, a new event, the Solaire Open. It's at Wak Wak, another old-fashioned course. And how would you compare it, say, to what we have this week at Delhi Golf Club?
Someone asked me last week, which is the toughest course on the Asian Tour? I didn't think of Wak Wak at the time, but actually now I think of it, Wak Wak is the toughest course on the Asian Tour, and it's an old-style golf course.
So similarly tight to this week. What would you say the hardest hole for the players who are going to be teeing up is?
At Wak Wak?
Yeah.
That par 3.
The 8th, yeah.
Number 8.
Yeah.
Nightmares. Absolute nightmares.
We've seen some big numbers there, haven't we? Well, look, lots to look forward to, not just this week at the Panasonic Open India, but in the coming weeks on the Asian Tour as well. That's all for this week, though, from the Asian Tour podcast from Don Boulay and myself, Richard Kaufman. We'll catch up with you again soon.